Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a build guide for the Ruffian rogue subclass in Baldur's Gate 3. This is a strength-based rogue made by TheWailingBard, and it's based on the LaserLlama's Ruffian subclass here. So this is a pretty powerful one because strength is really good due to Tavern Brawler in Baldur's Gate 3. So we'll be breaking down all the best choices. I'll be doing a level 12 and level 20 version of this so you can see where to put your abilities and how to use this at both levels here. And we're going to be mostly dexterity based, obviously, as a rogue. Obviously, the strength portion is important. So we would likely, if you're not going to use the strength potions, it's going to be good to go probably 16 in your strength. I would recommend, yeah, 16 strength and then putting the other point into your constitution there, because you can add constitution to your armor class, which is a little bit... If you're going to use a strength potion, you can just dump your strength, put those points into your dexterity to give you a little bit higher armor class, and then you can put the rest of those points into wisdom. And you can also use the strength club in Act 1, and then in Act 3 there's strength gloves. So you have multiple ways, and even there's gloves of dexterity in Act 1. So 16 strength otherwise. You can even do 17, put the hag's hair there, but I think a strength potion or the club is a little bit better. So I'm going to go with this stat spread, but you can use that first one there with higher strength. The nice thing with the rogue is their bonus action abilities here. So you can dash and then go punch a dragon in the face on your first turn in combat, which is just great. So the Ruffian here, we finally got the subclass level 3, so you got the Enforcer, you use tricks not often employed by rogues. Your sneak attack can work with unarmed attacks, and any weapon that isn't two-handed, so long as you're proficient with that weapon. Your unarmed attacks deal a 1d4 bludgeoning damage, while armored, you can use Constitution instead of Dexterity to calculate your armor class. And in the Shakedown, when you make an Athletics or Intimidation check, you cannot roll lower than an 8. Additionally, when you use Strength in place of your Charisma when you do Intimidation checks, which I think that's the way it should be, but there's other mods for that. This also gives you the Sneak Attack Ruffian, which gives you a sneak attack against a target you have advantage against. And also, if that weapon isn't two-handed, you get more options there. And also, you get the Sneak Attack Unarmed, which is just really fun to use. So, once we get to level 4, this gives us our first feat. And I would recommend Tavern Brawler. You can take the 17 Constitution, take that up to 18 here. That's probably actually the better way to do that. And then once we get to level 5, we get the Uncanny Dodge, which allows us to take half physical damage. This is really good. The rogue's actually quite survivable. They just don't have the same damage output, but this kind of solves it. Now we can take the Deception and Intimidation skills at level 6 there. I think that's good, especially for the face of the party. Otherwise, you could go with the other one there. Evasion at level 7. This basically makes it so on dexterity saves like Fireball, Lightning Bolt, etc. You take half damage from it normally, and if you succeed on the save, you take no damage at all. Level 8, another ability score improvement. You could take up the strength if you went that way, or go into your dexterity or constitution. Dex just ends up giving you, I like a dex-based rogue just for a variety of reasons. Initiative is so huge in this game. Level 9 gives us the Nerves of Steel. So fear is a weapon that is used against cowards and the weak-willed. You're not so easily intimidated, and you're immune to being frightened. We also get the Imposing Glance. Your glance strikes fear into the hearts of the weak. You can make an intimidation check and test it by a creature's insight. If successful, you frighten them until the end of the next turn. You have advantage against them in the first attack roll you make, using an Imposing Glance, charge, and a bonus action to do that. Pretty nice ability there. And level 10 gives us our extra feat. I would recommend Alert. I should have taken Alert a little bit earlier. Going first is just so useful, especially because you can attack the next turret in the initiative, and then maybe get a teammate of yours to link up with you guys. Reliable Talent. You make an ability check with a skill you're not proficient in. The lowest you can roll is a 10. Level 12, the extra feat here. You can go with the Savage Attacker. This will reroll your damage die, which is really great for boosting overall damage output, or a Dexterity or Constitution increase as well. Yeah, Savage Attacker ends up being pretty nice too, so I like that. You could also alternatively add in Sharpshooter if you like to use offhand. That's not really to the theme of a Ruffian. But level 13 gives us the Dodge and Counter. When an attacker misses you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction to redirect the force of their blow. They must do a dexterity saving throw or fall prone, which will set up your sneak attacks. Level 14 gives us our Blind Sense, so allowed to use to see the location of any hidden or invisible creature. This is just from the level 13 to 20 mod. Level 15 gives you proficiency in wisdom saving throws, which is really good because those suck to get hit with like command and hold person. Level 16 gives us another feat here. I also like to take the tough feat, giving you an extra 2 health points. If you're going to level 20, this gives us 40 extra health. Health is a resource, and the more of it you have, the better. And this just makes sense for a Ruffian to be tough. Level 17 gives us the Ruthless Strike. Once per turn, when you hit an enemy that you have frightened and you have met the conditions for a sneak attack, you can turn it automatically into a critical hit. And you can do this per short rest equal to your strength modifier. Pretty crazy ability there because sneak attacks are so good. Savage Attacker, rerolling your critical hit die too. Crazy damage output. Evasion. You're so evasive that attackers rarely gain the upper hand against you. No attack roll has advantage against you while you're not incapacitated. Currently non-functional. So yeah, maybe in the future, if you're watching this video, it will work properly. It's not from this subclass, to be clear. It's from the other 13 to 20 class mod. Now for the final feat, I love using crossbow expert on any type of rogue for the sneak attack close range, but that's not really well optimized for this. You could even, if you wanted to, a defensive duelist, if you're attack wielding a finesse weapon you're proficient with, you can use your reaction to use your proficiency bonus added to your armor class. That's kind of nice, but we do have other options to be able to avoid attacks, so that's not really, I guess, the best choice on a rogue. Lucky is another good choice here, because this will allow you to get advantage on attack rolls, ability checks, or saving throws. I like to take that if you're going level 20. You could also, of course, go with an ability score improvement on your constitution, dexterity, or onto your strength there if you didn't use any of the strength potions. And I actually might just take lucky. It just makes sense for a rogue to be lucky. Level 20, just extra health. The only thing with this mod is you're going to have this giant glowing eyeball here, so that's just something you got to keep in mind whenever you're using this mod. It's going to have that there. But for the outfit, I'm using the Kiss of the Scourge outfit, so if you're curious... Now I'm going to show you guys a little secret here. If you want to get the effects of the Strength Club here for yourself, I don't know why it's not showing up there, but it's supposed to tell you that it has 19 strength. Set your strength, there we go, sets your strength to 19. Put it in your offhand, put another light weapon in your main hand. You're then going to go to another character here and take off their weapon. So make sure they don't have a weapon there. You're then going to go into their inventory and grab the weapon that you have on your character there, taking it from you, and leaving in your offhand the Club of the Hill Giant strength. So then when you go back to your character here, your main attack is an unarmed strike. So that is how you can easily, in Act 1, get your strength to 19. There's also strength potions that'll put it to 20 to give you a little higher modifier. And then later on, you can also just use the gloves, or there's either the gloves that you can use late game. I prefer having the gloves of soul catching here. And also there's strength potions that set your strength to 27, which we'll be using for this video because that's a +8 to your strength. With Tavern Brawlers +16, it becomes crazy. I also like to have the Scabby Pugilist circlet here for 2 additional points of damage whenever you're surrounded by 2 or more foes. You'd like to be surrounding the enemy with 2 of your teammates, but that doesn't always happen. You can also go with the Haste Helmet at an early game. That's a great choice as well to give you increased movement speed. Deathstalker Mantle if you're the Dirge, Cloak of Protection, or Elemental Absorption otherwise. And I like the Vest of Soul Rejuvenation because you're able to add your Dexterity modifier there to the armor class. But also on top of that, it adds your, it gives you an unarmed attack. So whenever an attacker misses you with an attack, you can then, you can either do the redirect attack or you can make an unarmed attack back at them. And this does benefit from Tavern Brawler. So your punches on an unarmed attack is like upwards of 30 damage. And you can do upwards of 90 on a critical hit, which is crazy. We also got the Boots of Storm and Clamor. If you got the Illithid ability Drain, use that. Otherwise, the Disintegrating Nightwalkers for the teleportation works great. And since we don't have Wisdom, we can't use the Wisdom Punchy Boots. We'll also go with the Killer Sweetheart. A free crit is always nice. And Ring of Protection, because our armor class is not amazing, but it's something. We don't have the Wisdom-based armor class from the playing as a monk to really benefit us here, so that does kind of suck. Even though we're wearing clothing here, we still take a decent bit of attacks, even with our Ring of Protection there. You could also add in, I guess, the Evasive Shoes too if you want to increase your overall armor class. I also like the Hellrider Longbow for that +3 to initiative. This allows us to go first in combat most times, which is something we want to do because we want to take out targets as soon as possible. Alright, so our first turn of combat, we have cunning action dashes and hides and disengages we can utilize, but we also got our very powerful sneak attack punch. We do have to have an advantage on a target, so it's useful if you have another teammate that can come up and help you out with getting that advantage there, so we can then go surround this enemy here. And then we got our sneak attack. I guess we have disadvantage. Oh, that was because I had my bow out. So now we can actually do our sneak attack. Yeah, good damage there. Knocks him right out. This is a Street Fighter Ruffian. We're meant to punch people and knock them out just like that. Now I have haste applied to my character so that I can actually do something in combat. That's the unfortunate part about the rogue is they don't have many options. They can punch one thing per turn. You need to get haste. I would ideally have a Bloodlust elixir here, but I'm using a strength potion, so that kind of sucks. We're now stuck with a no other abilities here because we did our 2 punches. So in a weird, I don't often do this, but if you got the Illithid ability Mind Blast, that can help out a bit too with forcing you to be able to, I want to hit this wizard here. This is going to be a pain in my butt. But now we're invisible, so hopefully we won't get hit with command or hold person. So we have a nice ability here. So we can reroll our attack die there with the lucky, or we can use the uncanny dodge. I like to save lucky points for something else, but the other nice thing about this is uncanny dodge uses your reaction. Lucky does not. So it gives us 2 options there. We can use that, taking a little bit less damage there. But since our armor class is so low, it's a good thing that we have the tough feat, because otherwise we'd be dropping health points really quickly. At least with this, again, there you can see the lucky point can help us out there, or not. But we kind of play a role of a tank there. So Blade Ward on that character. And as a Ruffian, you have a moral obligation to go help Shadowheart when she's getting overwhelmed. So we're going to go in, sneak attack, punch to the head, 60, knocking them right out. And then following up with another sneak attack that's likely not going to take this target out. Oh, we got lucky there with that extra damage. So that was nice. Now we don't have any other abilities. We do have the Soul Snare heal if we do. We will need this health. So oftentimes using that extra 10 health is going to be nice. And then you could use, I guess, the hide ability there. We did not succeed on it, but it applied reverberation on him, so that was worthwhile bonus action use, I guess. Another time where we got that uncanny dodge to help out a little bit. It does eat that reaction up. You could also, I guess I mentioned the defensive duelist is another good option there, because you can use that to increase your armor class, which could turn hits into misses. So there is some other options there if you want to go for something different than the lucky feat. I just think lucky's pretty effective. We're now able to do our sneak attack, because I guess there's one target here that we can surround. Oops. Wrong one. We'll go with the sneak attack here. This will hopefully take them out. Perfect. We're now invisible, and I don't think I can make it there without getting mind broken, so I'm just going to go ahead with a Ruffian can use an arrow of annoyance here from time to time. Got the arrow of darkness. This will force him to move back towards us. We broke his concentration. I got nothing else in the tank here. And that arrow of darkness pushed him back, so we can go get our sneak attack punch of death. Boom, knocking him out. So yeah, that is a pretty strong subclass. It's not game-breakingly powerful. Obviously, the rogue has a lot of limitations. One cool thing is invisibility will let you see through darkness. But yeah, this is a fun one. It's meant to just be an enjoyable subclass, and it's now available on console, so great for those that are playing on PS5 and Xbox. Let me know your favorite thing about this class mod. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all in the next video.